I am on a mission to make my singing monsters in Minecraft, and today we are working on our first two islands. We are making Panic Cavern by Uxus and my very own called Conduit Highlands. We'll also be working on the timeline mechanics for our monsters so they can play respectively on their islands. Now, the Panic Cavern I have right now is quite small for my liking, so I think an entire renovation is needed. I mean, this cavern is meant to house the most horrific fears, so I think it's only necessary to capture that vibe with an unsettling atmosphere. Okay everybody, I have just finished Panic Cavern, the new island. I have to say it looks absolutely beautiful. We have trees here in the distance and nice platforms to put all the monsters on when you collect them. There's these looming trees and these supposed to be glowing eyes, but they don't, kind of look like ore. And of course, the elephant in the room. We have the giant, scary looking eye. Now you might be wondering what these pedestals are for. And to answer that question, they will be used to put the elements on to craft the monsters. So there will be a fear element, which you'll put on like this pedestal, for example, and then there'll be some sort of other item. Each item will be unique, that way you get all the different monsters and stuff. And you'll be able to place them down, and look, I even made a viewing platform, so if you wanted to kind of take a look at your island, and you could see like things playing over here, or maybe over here. There's gonna be stuff here, there, everywhere, everything, everywhere, all at once. But we are not done yet, because this is lacking atmosphere. It's not very scary. I mean, the place is very cool looking, you know. It's fun to explore all the different things. We've got this like black stone, like tar, kind of going through the islands. We've got the soul sand pits of, I don't know, really scared souls, I guess. And then we've got, of course, the nice platforms and stuff. But we are lacking fog. This is also a very important atmosphere trick, and we can do this due to modding capabilities, like on add-ons. We are able to add our own custom fog. So let's go and do that now. But before I do that, we need to find a good color. So I'm in Blockbench, and what I am doing is I'm going to go to the textures folder of this asset thing. This contains all of the items in the game. I'm going to go to blocks from textures, and we're going to look up pale moss. The reason why we're doing this is because I want to copy the color of the moss and save this hex value. That way we can make our fog the exact same color as this. So we're going to make a new folder called fogs. We're going to call this Panic Cavern fog. And then we change all of these to the hexes of the color we just picked. We save this, and let's see what it looks like in the game. But if we do a good fog.s push MSM Panic Cavern fog. Oh, we need one more variable. We'll do the same one again. MSM Panic Cavern underscore fog. We should get a fog that subtly creeps in. Ooh, look at that. This is really hazy. It kind of reminds me of the high school restrooms. Okay, so the first thing I want to fix is the haziness. I think it's way too large. So what we do is we just set the fog end, and we set this to a higher number. Let's do 80 and see how that looks. From 16 to 80. Okay, that's better. It's more foggy, I would say. You can kind of, whoa. Okay, this is really, what in the world? I just realized my crosshair is a potion. What? You know, this isn't the first time that it's happened. It seems like all of the animated blocks in my cursor are messed up. I might have to report a bug, because this is not the first time that this has happened. But do we stop there? Of course not. We're missing another key component to atmosphere, and that is particles. I want low particles, low like fog, you know, mist in the morning. So let's see if we can add that. We get the campfire smoke texture. This is 16 by 192 pixels. As you can see, it's like a stop motion kind of frame thing. Yeah, something like that. My cursor is now a prismarine block, but the fog is now tilted at an angle. You can kind of see it. Whoa. Yeah, this is very cool. I like this effect. Moss block, yeah. Right there. That should actually make our theme down here very dark. Whoa. Okay, we have a lot of skybox to cover though. Pale moss block. We have created ourselves a moss prison. A dark skybox for our map. Look at that. Look at that. Panic Cavern, I believe, is done. We just need to make the timeline for the 5 monsters we have. So this is a MC function, and basically each line represents its own function. So you can have like fill blah 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 and clone and summon, and when you run this function, it runs all of these commands at once in an instant. So what we can do is we can set up a scoreboard timer if we're smart about it, and each scoreboard, every time it ticks up 1, we can say that's a measure, and at certain measures we can make the animations and the play sounds work. That way we can call certain monsters at certain times. So first we have to actually initiate our scoreboards. So the original song, there's 4 measures of just silence at the beginning, kind of like to let the bass come in, you know? It's like We need to save it until we are at measure 5, I believe. There we go. So at measure 5, we have Dodar playing his animation and also doing a play soundtrack. But also, Vuti is doing the same thing. So we're going to do this as well. Family equals Vu underscore T, I believe. But there is a small issue with how we have this play sound command set up. This is playing at everyone, which means the sound is coming from you. But that's not how the game works. The sound comes from the monster. So couldn't we just change this to type equals Dodar, for example? Not exactly, because this argument specifies who is hearing the sound, which means the play sound command is only playing for Dodar. And that's not what we want either, because we want the player to hear the sound. So how do we do this? We actually do execute as @e, I cannot type for the life of me, @e, family equals Dodar, @s, run play sound Dodar, dot track 1. This is how we want it set up. So we're going to do this here as well, vu t dot track 1. Okay, with that set up, we should test this inside the game. Time up to 4, and let's test it out. Okay, that's pretty cool. So now what we need to do is we need to increment the measures automatically, which means we need to change this to a repeating command block. But also we got to find the ticks, which means how much time passes for each measure. Okay, it's somewhat right. There's just a little delay. What if we do a shorter? This is gonna be tricky. So Eki is a little bit off. Okay, on measure 5, Eki changes his trap to be 2. Oh wait, I gotta do this. There we go. Okay, it really frustrates me that these are off, but I don't know where the issue's coming from. Is it coming from the tracks? Is it coming from just latency in Minecraft? Is it coming from the tick issue here? Like, come on! I don't know if I'm going insane. I'm just gonna continue. I'm gonna pretend like nothing's happening. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. 10, track 10 is where that awesome trumpet comes in, or trombone, whatever, tuba, whatever brass instrument that is. I just realized that this second track here, there's 2 that play like halfway through the measure, which means I have to double the entire timeline by 2. Oh no. Everybody, I just found out the issue. The reason why it was not in sync was because the files were too large. They have to be like under 100 kilobytes in order to not have any latency, but I fixed the issue. How cool was that? It's so cool. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for watching Devlog 1. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everyone.